What does that mean for the price of oil, if that happens? I mean, this is worst case scenario.
Well, there are two things about the price of oil. One is that oil is pricing higher than the fundamentals would warrant. The evidence for that is in the record amount of net length of managed money in the market. It's the highest ever, and particularly in terms of the percentage of open interest. You have things that could happen and don't happen. If things don't happen, there could be a sell-off. So we have a little bit of froth in the oil price at the moment, and we could see a dramatic sell-off if all of a sudden the anticipated repercussions of what's happening now, what's happening after May 12th, when some deadlines have to be met that the president has put on European countries in terms of upping the ante on sanctions on Iran. If these things don't amount to much, there's going to be a sell-off in the market.
But Ed, at the same time, we're hearing from the Saudi side that they're targeting oil at around $80 a barrel. So would they not be there to step in if anything happens to the price?
Well, we don't know. What we know is that the Saudis can't do it on their own. This is a dynamic market. They've been able to co-opt the Russians into cooperating with them and bringing oil out of the market. But the higher the price, the more there's going to be a response. And I think the Saudis are really underestimating the response of the U.S., Brazil, Canada, soon to be Mexico, in fact, in terms of oil that's going to be coming into the market.
Well, I want to get to Gary on inflation here in a moment, but Dr. Morse, this is so important. Are we in an oil bull market? I mean, we've gone 29 to 60 something. If you forget about 100, that's a pretty good vector for Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
It's a remarkable vector, and they like the high price. The high price buys them a lot of time in terms of the reform at home. But they can't control that price. That's the problem.
It's inflation. We're all going to die. Let's go to Gary Shilling and find out right now. Gary, wonderful to have you with us. You have been, once again, right about low interest rates and awe. How do you fold Edward Morse's world of higher oil prices into your call for a disinflationary tendency?
Well, I think he's right that you do have a lot of things going on right now, and particularly the tension in the Middle East. And every time you get that, there's always a feeling that somehow the supplies are going to be cut back. But the reality is that apart from that, I just don't see that there is inflationary pressures. And in oil, you look at the American frackers, what they're doing, and you look at globalization, tremendous deflationary forces.